Hey everybody, happy 4th of July and welcome to episode 15. So, here's the plan. We have this radio close to working, but I promise you by the end of this video, this radio is going to be playing. I am not posting this video until it's working. But, there's a few things here I want to make sure I cover before I dive in. So, if I'm looking in here, way too busy. Too many wires. This thing is going to be noisy as hell. I don't like all these wires running all over the place. I just don't like it. Okay? So the plan for today is very, very simple. Okay? We're going to remove all these caps. Yes, we're going to remove all the caps. We're going to remove this cap box down here, which has 4.1 caps inside. I'm going to restuff it. And we're also going to replace this can, which I've restuffed already. We're going to mount it here. And that's going to be how we do the caps in this thing. There's going to be no wires running to caps, none of that stuff. It's just way too busy in here. Okay? Now, one of the reasons why I'm doing that is the wires coming out of the output transformer, which are on the other side. The insulation doesn't look good, and I'm having a couple of problems with the output transformer, so I'm just going to remove the output transformer, rewire it, put it back in. In order to get this can out, you have to remove it anyway, because there's rivets here, right here, that if I put a drill in there, they're going to fall inside the output transformer. So we're going to remove all that now and get it out, rewire the output transformer, stuff this can, put it back in, and then I have my places for my connections. I don't have to worry about any of this wire. Okay? So that is the plan. So now we're going to shut the camera down and I'm going to go do all this work. Then we're going to come back and show you what it looks like, and we're going to start doing some testing today. This is the 0.1 and the 0.5 can that was in there. Okay? Simply been restuffed. Got some grommets right here. Okay? This is isolated. There's a little tab here that I have everything soldered to. And we're good to go. We're going to do the same thing on this one. Alright? I shall be back with some progress. I'm going to show you this because some of you may find this interesting. So this is the output transformer. It's been removed. And you can see that some of these wires are just in really bad shape. And it's really just a potted box. Okay, so we're going to take this, gently take this cardboard out. Like that. And we're going to rewire it and put it all back together. Right? There's really not much in there. It's just a bunch of tar. Okay? So we're going to make our connections around here somewhere, use some heat shrink, and get this thing in good shape. That's our output transformer. Of course, we're going to ohm it out. The way this works is these two go to the output tubes, and this is the center tap right here. Okay? And then this is the outer wiring right here. And you can see this is really brittle, crappy, so it needs to be fixed. Okay? And then we'll take this piece of cardboard. Looks like an old spider's been in here. I'm going to take this piece of cardboard, put that back in, and we're good to go. Okay. Shall be back. Okay, we've completed the winding that goes to the 27 tube. This goes to the output side. This is the center tap. This has been completed. And of course we've got it heat shrinked. And the first thing you always do before you heat shrink it is you test it. Now I've tested this already. But we're just going to put a meter across these two leads and see what we get. 2.2K. It looks good. Okay. First time I checked it, it was open. That's because the wires that are in here have a coating on them and I had to scrape them a little bit. But it's all good. So you always check your wires and connections before you continue. So we're good here. Alright, let's continue rewiring this. Let me show you what I mean about a coating on this wire. This is the center tap wire. Look at this green. This has to be completely scraped before you solder anything to it, obviously. And not even scraped. If you scrape it, you'll damage it. It has to be completely sanded, cleaned. Okay? That's what I mean. Okay, real quick, we're just gonna, all the connections are done. We're just gonna ohm it out one more time before we put it back. Put the cardboard there. So right now we're on the center tap of the outer winding. And we should get about 4K. There we go. 4.0. Let's do the other side. 4.7K. Good. Now we're going to check the inner winding, which is this green and blue. We should get about 2 something, I think, if I recall. 2.3. Okay, our transformer is good. Now we're going to put it back together. Be back. In case some of you have never done this, I just dug the tar out of this cap can. This is 4.1 caps. And you'll see there's a solder point here for the ground, which I'll take advantage of. There's one here too. And I'll end up putting a piece of cardboard in here just to insulate. I'll put some rubber grommets in these holes here, right there. And that'll keep the ends isolated. And then I'll put some terminals on the end so you can solder to them. Alright, be back. Okay, we have our cap can restuffed. This is the 4.1s. And obviously we're just going to do a quick continuity test, make sure nothing is shorting out to the can. All good there. All good there. And all good there. Then we're going to check our ground connections and make sure they're solid. Good. Good. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to put some hot glue in here and just make sure this thing doesn't move around. And this is ready to put back in the chassis. Alright. What I'll end up doing over here is putting some kind of terminal strip on here that you can solder to for both of these, both ends. Alright, be back. Okay, just like that, we've got the glue in there. I even wrote the date in there that I restuffed it, 7/4/2018. So we're just going to let that set for a minute, and then we'll put the ends on here, and we'll show you what that looks like. Okay, I'm just going to show you how I do this. This is how I do it, so it doesn't mean it's right, but it's how I do it. So I'll take this end here a little bit and bend it. And I've got one of these crimp-on connectors. I've taken off the insulation because I don't trust those crimp things at all. I put it through the hole, and then I put it through the hole on top. Okay. Took me a little bit of trouble to get on here, but we're good. So now we're just going to slip this down, and we're going to put the end of it inside the grommet. Like this. See? Just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to trim this off right here. And I just take a duckbill plier, make sure I have a good flat wire there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of bead of solder right in here and fill that up. Okay? And then I'll make sure that this wire that's sticking out is soldered to the terminal ring as well. I'll be right back. Okay, that one's done. Alright, it's soldered in. It's nice and tight. No problem. It's secure. It's not going to move anywhere. So I'm going to do the rest of them. Alright, our cap can is restuffed. I've got a label on here, 0.1 microfarad times 4. All good to go. Same thing for this one. This one's ready to put back in. We also have our output transformer ready to put back in. And we're going to put these this interstage coil back in, which I put some new wires on, and this choke. So we're ready to reassemble the radio, so let's go do that. Alright, just a fast check-in. We're making really good progress. We've got our cap cans mounted right here. We've got our interstage coil mounted. I've got one more connection to make on it. And we're going to put our choke in a minute. We're going to finish, we're going to start connecting everything that we need to connect to our IF coil. And we're going to get rid of all these crappy wires. And I really want an empty chassis when this is done. I don't want much in here. That's the objective. Less equals better. I've learned that. That's the plan. So let me continue working in this, getting this crap out of here, mounting things in the right place, and we'll be back. Okay, so we've done our rewire, and we've got it powered up. And I've been actually troubleshooting this for a couple of days. So I want to show you, first of all, where we are. So basically what's happening is the oscillator is not working. So right now I have a signal generator connected to the top of the 24 tube. And I have it going over to my signal generator right there, which is tuned to about 500. And if I turn the volume up,
Changing public record protocol after reading the recent findings
record's playing.
of the task force
I mean the
on
record.
open
The radio's
government.
playing.
Jags running back Leonard Fournette.
If I remove this and just run the radio, the oscillator is not working. I've checked the cathode of the 24 tube. Can't get it yet. Working very closely with our friend Robert Gibbons. He's really, really helpful, giving me a lot of pointers. But the issue I have right now is my oscillator's not working. So I'm going to have to check the coil and all that stuff. So the radio is playing after all these years. It's a good sign, right?
During jobs report earlier today, payrolls increased
sounds
to
good.
213,000 for the period. Now, slightly below the previous month.
So the objective for this video was to get the radio playing. We did that.
4% level.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to try to troubleshoot this this oscillator issue and see if we can figure out what it is. And basically, looking at the schematic really quick, I'll show you what we're looking for. So coming off of the 24 tube right here, which is the first detector, I'm looking for an oscillator signal on the cathode coming right here. This is the oscillator down here. Okay? And I'm looking for a signal to come off of this oscillator coil and come up to right here to the cathode of the 24. Right now I get nothing. If I disconnect that signal generator, which is basically acting like an oscillator right now, the radio does not play. I've also tried to tune this this IF can, this IF can here that was 175 kilocycles, and I found out that my signal generator is not working in the 100 to 300 range. I put it on the scope, it's dead. So I ripped out the old Heathkit IG20 something, and I'm able to get a signal of that of 175 kilocycles. So I have tuned the can to where I think it needs to be, and I think we're okay here. So really it's just and you can tell the radio is working except for the oscillator, right? So it's just a question of getting that oscillator working. So I'm going to end this video, put it up, and first I'll show you the bottom, and then next episode, hopefully we'll have some good news on the oscillator issue. We're getting there, folks. It's getting close. All right, let me show you the bottom of the radio, and then we'll end it. Okay, here's the bottom of the radio, and you can see that the wiring is very minimal. You'll see that I stuffed the cap cans. They're here. I just have a few caps around here. Not much going on here. Here's the 24 tube, and this is the cathode, right? And this is the oscillator coil right here. See if we can get a little closer to that. And you'll see the oscillator coil has 6 legs coming off of it. This one here goes to the grid of the 27 oscillator tube. This one goes to the plate, and this one goes to the cathode of the 24. This side here goes up to the screen of the 35. This one here is a ground, and then this one here comes across over to the antenna coil and connects right on this side. And looks pretty neat in there. Not much new down here. I'm still going to clean this wiring up here, but you'll see it looks fairly neat. There's not a lot going on, so that's what made this easy for me. It was really these cap cans that kicked my butt, right? So they're in better shape now. Anyway, we're going to stop this here, and I'm going to continue troubleshooting why I'm not getting an oscillation signal on this cathode. I've hooked up an oscilloscope to the cathode with a 0.01 cap on it, and I'm getting nothing. So there's nothing coming out of this coil. So I'm going to ohm out the coil, which I've done already, but I'll do it again. I may remove all the leads and do it this time. Maybe I just have a bad coil. Don't know. We'll find out. All right, I'll see you in the next episode. Hopefully the last one. Thanks.